Welcome to Zeros to Ones Office Hours. I'm 𝘊𝗵𝗁𝘁, and I've been building startups for the past 12 plus years as a first and early hire and as a fractional leader. To date, I've worked with around 2,000 startups, including a few unicorns and successful exits. Over the past 10 years, I've done over 1,000 office hours, sharing advice with founders around growing their startups from 0 to 1 and beyond. Whether go-to-market, ideation, growth strategies, sales and pricing, UI, UX, product strategy, and just about everything except for writing code. This show is all about making these conversations public so we can learn out loud together. Each episode, an early stage founder, just like you, will join to work through their biggest blocker, knowing that there are many other founders out there with the same issue in the same position. This is my effort to give back to the community. You can sign up for my daily curated newsletter that shares the advice that you need to grow your startup from 0 to 1 without all the noise. Go to zeros2ones.com. And if you're looking for more one-on-one help building your startup, check out how we can work together on my website, 𝘊𝗵𝗁𝘁.com. Hey, welcome to this episode of Zeros to One Office Hours. I'm joined by Spyros. You're in Greece now, yeah?
Yeah, northern Greece.
Very nice. You always hear people in Greece are in islands, Santorini or something. I guess not as luxurious, but we'd love to hear a little bit more about it.
Yeah, actually, I live on an island, but these days I'm not on the island. I
Okay.
live at Corfu. It is a beautiful island.
Amazing, amazing. Where are you these days?
Northern Greece, Thessaloniki, because one of
Okay.
my teams is here. So yeah, that's why I spend some time here.
Happy to have a conversation today, and we're going to kind of dive in as usual on this show to what the biggest obstacle is. The way we start is introduce yourself a little bit, tell us about the startup that you're working with, and tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Scott. I started liking startups almost a decade ago, a little less. And since the first time I quit from my job, it was a decision, a gradual decision, let's call it like that, to dedicate myself into, making one of my companies or, ideas projects, a company that helps me live with it. So, and I'm saying this story because back then I had a technical co-founder who we were sharing the projects together. And unfortunately, at some point, this co-founder, this friend, left us. The last time actually he did that, because he did it twice, we had already raised a round of funding and we gave it back in a way. So this dependence on developers back then led me to discover what no coding is. And I became so passionate about no coding that everything I did since then was related to no coding. And currently, my work and my startup and my, all my professional activities are related to no coding. And actually, I'm also doing a PhD thesis on no coding, the impact of no coding and low coding at early stage product development. So this is the space we are exploring as a team and as a startup. And yeah, I will enjoy sharing more about what we do and our challenges.
That's amazing. It's very cool that you could do a PhD thesis on the specific topic. So it's very interesting. So I'm assuming here, obviously, that your startup is a no code tool itself, it being in the space. And yeah, to give it a little bit more, maybe share a little bit more exactly what the tool is. I think probably most people know what no code is, but if there's any specialty, any industry specific, and then yeah, dive into like what that main challenge that you're facing now is.
Yeah, so actually, we are into the no code space, but we are not a tool yet. So we started using no coding and various no code tools, and we built a small team that has various expertise in the no code space. So for those that don't know what no code or low code is actually the the technology trend that allows non-coders or non-developers develop internet results or digital outcomes in the internet economy. So our team started having capacities like web apps development, native apps development, web pages development, specific tools that are quite popular like Webflow or Wix or whatever. And then we started adding even more skills like internal tools and automation, and then the marketing stacks as well that are related to all of this. I was so interested in it, and the team became interested through me actually while getting trained and getting upskilled and all this, that we said, okay, we have to turn this into a business somehow. And in the beginning, we started following revenue. which is the best way, in my opinion, to not define what you do, because we were doing sales like a no code agency kind of style, trying to give value to others while learning through the projects we were running, and while also getting trained on the platforms we were using. So we were basically paid to learn. And since then, the biggest challenge that we have been facing is we cannot define what we are mostly interested into doing and trying to scale in the next steps, because we validate different things and different needs, and we can productize some of them. But most of them are like services in the space. It's not like we are reinventing something, or we are disrupting a specific industry. We are very familiar with the no code space, and we're trying to build a business on top of what's happening right now. The good thing is that we are well exposed in this space, and my academic relationship, in a way, with the space gives us even more visibility within it. And I have some ideas about problems that we keep facing with customers. But the biggest challenge is choosing the problem we're going to deal with. And I think it's a pretty common challenge for many people that are interested in building startups or whatever, because the problem is the beginning of everything, in my opinion.
Problem is the essence of everything early on. It is the number one reason why every early stage startup fails. Again, as we said when we were offline, I do 2 to 3 conversations similar to this every week for 10 years. And I've had God knows how many people reach out to me having trouble funding, having people trouble getting to the website, getting signups, getting conversions, moving up the paid funnel. And my response usually is, without seeing anything of what they do, I'm like, oh, okay, no, here's my calendar link. I'm, 99% sure that the issue is problem market fit. And they reply back, oh no, I spoke with like 25 friends. I did a survey of like 50 people. Oh no, that's not the issue. I'm like, oh, fine. No, here, just book some time, send me a website or a deck or whatever you want to send me. Great. We get on the call. I said, okay, I was 99% sure. Now I'm 99.99% sure the issue is problem market fit. Most people just come from the perspective of, oh, let me build a product, right? I'm going to build another team collaboration tool. Why? Because look, Slack is a whatever $15 billion company. So the world needs another one. The world doesn't need another Slack. Like, Slack is great in itself. Like, if you need to find some issues that exist with Slack and the workflow of Slack, and go solve that. So if you're going to solve a problem that exists with the tools, or maybe isn't solved by tools, that's great. But just to go build something, like which most founders do, a total miss. So it's great to hear off the bat you're already thinking of finding a problem, not just let's build a product, let's build a no code platform, or let's productize no code and make another platform out there. Hey, what issue can we find? So good, you're already off to the right foot. So good job for that.
We failed multiple times with previous efforts as a team, or as me personally as a founder. So in this case, we decided, let's follow revenue. And revenue has led us to the following 3 4 different revenue streams, which is building things that others want. So, like, essentially an agency with no code tools, which, I mean, relieves. So it's cheaper to build with no code, and that's why there is value in it. It's cheaper, quicker. You become more reliable, and you are more adjustable later on. So that's the pain points we're addressing, which is what the pain points that no code, generically speaking, is addressing. We have also found value into providing consulting with no code, kind of helping founders or other startups or entrepreneurs use no code tools themselves, because they want to navigate in this weird ecosystem. And also trainings or education. So our biggest challenge is choosing what we are gonna do, given that we see revenue from all these different directions, and I feel I don't have enough data to choose, because I'm passionate for multiple things. On the one hand, I like teaching or instructing or building something in this space. On the other hand, I see the consulting problem kind of style more and more and more and more, because in this case, you are able to cover a broader range of problems that a 0 to 1 founder, especially if they are a first or second time founders, faces. And then with building products for other, let's pick for example Flutterflow, which is a very popular tool recently. productizing, building Flutter Flow apps for others could be a really profitable or scalable up to a certain point business. So we don't really know how to choose. And this is also a disadvantage at the same time because I'm not prioritizing sales efforts and revenue, and we are going all in everywhere. So even though we are aware of that, it's challenging itself.
Yes, absolutely. The question to kind of take a look back is obviously who has the biggest problem that you're trying to solve, and then what is exactly that problem, and how painful of a point is it? When I think of becoming like another development agency that just happens to use no code tools, it's like, okay, there's a million development agencies and freelancers that will build whatever you want. So whether you're specific on a specific code base or something like that, again, it's you're just one of a million different players that's out there. My second thought is a company that I was mentoring recently is doing something very similar. Also had a development agency, got into no code, and was trying to productize, the no code side. And I kind of pushed in the idea of building like a no code on steroids, where cool tools like Bubble and Airtable and those ones are great, and they allow you to do a certain bit. But when you want more kind of like a deeper integration, like, oh, let me connect it to Stripe, or let me connect it to this CRM, or let me connect it to something else, that's where most of these tools are very lacking. Where again, I could build a basic website or whatever, like web app it is, but the additional maybe specific integrations and deeper abilities are just lacking in those native tools. And so maybe on the side of it being again a no code tool with like the development kind of consultancy on top of that, that hey, you can build whatever you want, but now if you want to build something more customized, hey, we can do that for a cheaper price. Because I think if you're going to then say, hey, this integration is going to cost $5,000, then you're kind of falling back into the development agency side, which is kind of the antithesis of no code, right? A business founder is going to go to no code because hopefully they can get something up and running quickly and it's a super cheap price. The whole idea is to try to validate something before you ever really build it for real. And if an integration is going to cost 5K, then it kind of gets out of that. I'm intrigued by the education piece. And again, I think that's a totally different business. That it is right. It's not an agency. It's not. I mean, you can have an agency behind it. It's not so much of a product, but it's kind of courses, and whether the courses are how to use specific tools or how to do specific workflows. I think that's quite intriguing. Or on the automation side, because I know plenty of founders, including myself, hey, who are using a whole bunch of tools to run their, for myself, fractional business. And like the real options that you have are, again, Zapier or Make. But a lot of times you need even somewhat of technical or deeper understanding to make sure that all of those are connected right, it all work right. And if you don't have the technical background or a little bit more domain expertise, it's even hard to use a Zapier or a Make to properly set up something. So if it's could be, hey, we're the marketing automation tool or the fractional automation tool or the founder tool or HR tool, automation tool that, hey, will connect all the apps and things that you have focused in this domain. I think that's also an interesting idea. What do you think?
So my approach when it comes to education and the examples that you brought is that I think due to the era we are living and with all this content that exists out there, education and consulting are not that different in most cases. Like
For
because
sure.
people, I have seen many founders wanting to understand how something works, but then not wanting to take the time to do it themselves, which is
Yep.
the purpose of education. So in a way, they get educated by being consulted, and then they have to take a new decision about where to focus their attention or their business. So
Yep.
in the way I perceive it personally, I think that these two parts of what I described earlier can be kind of, get mixed. And by providing education nowadays, what I'm thinking of pursuing or trying is trying to provide personalized education to the
Hmm.
challenges that somebody is facing within the fields of know-how that I'm having. Because going from 0 to 1 and working with no code gives us this flexibility as a team. And maybe building a SaaS tool or a tool in the space as a no code tool, which is an educational tool with no code as the field of education, and 0 to 1 as the field of the area where people that use it get educated, kind of. This is a pain point I have been having actually, and it's like scratching my own itch in this
Yep.
case. But I have seen it with multiple startups that I have worked with.
Yes. Here's a great course that kind of walks me through, unless you're going to create 1,000 different courses. So let's say again you wanted to create a marketing automation tool. So here's how you start with your email provider, and then maybe your CRM, and then maybe a marketing tool, and then maybe a whatever landing page design tool or something like that. But if I'm using, let's say, a different CRM tool or a different marketing tool, hey, is it as easy? And I think especially when it comes down to, when you need to link fields, within like a CRM and a different tool, like what tools do, or like what are the right fields, what are the right names, how do I pick? So I think the education piece is, hey, it's a great value because for whatever, 99 or 149 or whatever the cost is, learn how to build how to automate your marketing business. And you go through maybe like the top tools. But hey, if I need more of the customization, or I don't know how to map my fields together, or you're not including, I don't know, lead pages, or Squarespace is like the landing page, but you're using Webflow or WordPress, then I kind of run into, well, is this as easy? Maybe not. Hey, again, can I use your team as a consultancy that, hey, these are the specific tools that I need? I watched the video, got the education. I understand how everything's supposed to be set up in kind of like a flow. But because your course was talking about Webflow and I'm using Squarespace, I'm kind of at a miss. So hey, can you build this thing for me? And obviously, you know what you're talking about because you shared with me this great course, which I found extremely valuable and I learned a lot with. So you know what you're doing, and I think that even the idea of the education is a sales piece, because if the quality of the education is good, it sells like, hey, you know what you're talking about. You know marketing automation or sales automation or customer, whatever automation stack you're building. If you're providing and creating this great content that's extremely helpful and valuable, then you obviously know what you're doing with other tools and how to plug and play different tools into the system versus just know the ones that are the courses you're giving.
I love how all these intersect and interconnect in this space. And being a distracted person, I sometimes even enjoy going beyond, the normal and usual processes that we have to follow. So when I'm working with a founder and they want, a website, then we get into their marketing stack and all the triggers they're gonna set up. So I enjoy how all these things mix. So yeah, that's a powerful combination actually.
Yeah, and I think I like that. Really like the idea of the consultancy business on top of the education. For myself, I'll give you kind of an example. And what was it? Towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, whatever it was, I bought an online course about using AI to build out different content pieces. And no, nice content, very helpful. It gives you prompts and all kinds of things like that. But hey, I got to manually do this and manually, copy and paste or use like a text expander and change the data and sometimes do it over here. And then I got to like, if there was like a nice way, hey, it can like, we teach you how to that was a great course of how to do it. But now if there was an offer on top of that, hey, for, I don't know, some flat amount of money, $500, I'll build out this automation. So every day at a certain time, it'll kick off that prompt and whatever the content will come back. Then it'll automatically, repurpose that or re-ask, okay, write me a LinkedIn post. And once it's good enough, okay, then automate a way to now change that LinkedIn post into a Twitter thread. And then once that's good enough, that'll give me a script for a YouTube short video or Instagram video. Like if there was a way to automate all that manual extra work that I'm doing, it's like, oh, I'd pay for that. I mean, even though AI is doing a great job and saving me time for content collection or what have you, but hey, there's still a lot of work that's involved, and if there's a way to automate that, ooh, that's definitely worth money for me, and worth money for me to spend.
I loved what you described because you reminded me of a thought that I had earlier. Because combining AI with no code is, a powerful mix. And there are so many creators and founders out there that started building services just because they added AI in the mix of what they were doing, and this upgraded so much their services. It doesn't make them necessarily good businesses quickly, but it increases what they can be offering out there. And just a personal point of view, when you used the term earlier, no code on steroids, the first thought that came in my mind was like putting no code plus AI together, and having a rocket to build whatever you can think of out there.
I built a couple things on no code, and I've helped a couple of other people. And again, it's great for something basic, but that the real issue is then again when you want to do maybe deeper integration or AI, or I want to integrate with these specific tools, right? And they're not listed in Bubble or not listed in whatever no code builder. What the hell do I do now? So now I kind of need like a low code solution, and I need to code. And if I don't, then I'm kind of stuck. I'm either stuck using some tools that I don't want, or using maybe a workflow that's incomplete. I'm not getting everything that I'm looking to get out of this no code builder. So if I have the opportunity where I can get everything I want, hey, I build 80% of what I need, but I need these extra couple things, and I don't have the coding experience to do it. Hey, for maybe a fixed fee and for a lower fee, that if somebody can go build this in a week, that's pretty damn good, especially that I get exactly what I want.
Yes, that's the power of it. I have a question about something you asked that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So you recently played around with content and AI, as far as I understood. So like, we are trying to create content in the no code field in this case, and what I'm trying to do is actually become visible in the two most popular search engines. The second one is YouTube. So we will be creating tutorials and content as part of the educational arm that we were saying earlier. And then the other one is Google and search engines, text-based search engines, obviously. So we were thinking of creating. I'm actually creating a strategy around content in that space. So, what are your learnings from using AI to create content? Like, what can you share about that?
I think what I've learned so far with AI is very good at taking something that's existing and making it better. So I write a LinkedIn post, I write a blog post, I wrote something, and then hey, again, put in my prompt, you're a world class ghostwriter and da 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 with this skills and da da da, make this better or make it whatever. I think AI does a great job at that, but AI is not there yet for creating new content from nothing. So if I put in a prompt again, same type things, I'm a prompt, you're this person, you have this experience, and you're da, 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 write for me a viral LinkedIn post about this specific topic. It just isn't there yet. The technology, the AI isn't good enough to be able to write a good enough that I could just kind of, oh yeah, great, paste. Even most of the time, it's not good enough where I say, oh yeah, I can just spend 2 minutes editing this and it's ready to go. It needs usually a couple tries, regenerations, and then kind of taking a piece from here, taking a piece from there, and kind of combining it all together. And then when you're kind of going to the next step, that's a LinkedIn post, right? So then you have to be on all the social channels. Okay, take that and now repurpose it as a Twitter thread. And then sometimes it is good enough. Sometimes it's not. And sometimes you have to move things around. And then, okay, now repurpose that as a 59-second, a script for a YouTube short. And again, whether that's the right points, hitting the right points. So creating stuff from scratch, not good enough yet. Taking stuff and making it better, I think that's where it is. And I think that's definitely an area. I think once it improves, I think there'll be a lot of value. But even for the automation, if there was the ability to automate, for example, I create a video, right? I create a video for YouTube Shorts, right? I can use the same format for Instagram videos, great. But what I found now is So my files could be 12 megabytes, 15 megabytes, right? It's 59 seconds, so it's not big. But TikTok, if I want to upload to TikTok, the file has to be less than 10 megabytes. So now I need to go take the same video. I got to go compress the video, upload it, compress it, download it, move it off to TikTok. Like, hey, even if there is a way to automate that, right? I create one video, post it on the right social media. Hey, if you can add in some keyword knowledge. So based on each network, each social channel, what the right keywords are for that type of content. Hey, in this case, automatically compress said TikTok file, make it the right size, automatically post on all the channels. That's hella powerful. And I would absolutely love to use a tool like that, because as much as everyone talks about content repurposing, it's very, very manual at this point. And right. So I would love to just take a YouTube video, like this conversation here, like my ideal situation. Let's take this conversation here, however long it lasts. Let me throw it into some tool, right? Now take this script, give me a whole description, write a whole blog post, take the script, write a blog post about it, create 5, 10, 59-second YouTube short, Instagram videos. Take some other stuff, cards and quotes, turn it into this, turn it into that, and be able to do everything like with one shot and not have to worry about anything else. Like, holy crap. If that exists, please tell me where it is so I can go sign up for it. And if not, oh man, I would love a tool, whether it's an actual tool or just a way to automate all that stuff in one shot. Wow.
Thanks for sharing these insights. I feel related to some of these experiences, and I agree with many of the points. Thanks for sharing them. Scott, thank you for sharing this very fun and enjoyable conversation with me.
Appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much for joining in the conversation today and learning out loud with me and learning out loud with everybody else. And until the next episode, have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you learned something you can walk away with. If you enjoy this content, please do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel, like the videos, leave comments, and share with another founder that you know who'd benefit. If you'd like to join me as a future guest on the podcast, feel free to reach out to me via email, scott@zeros-to-ones.com, or via LinkedIn.